All right, welcome to this short tutorial, and as a matter of fact this is going to be more of an improvisation where we're going to edit this shot of our beautiful model Kilvis, filmed in Maspalomas in Gran Canaria. Beautiful weather, beautiful shot, beautiful model, and let's see what we can do with this shot. So I don't even have a look in mind, but I'm just going to experiment a bit. I'm going to try different things, show you how I normally edit, and but above all, I'm not going to make a very long video. So first things first, this is a shot that was filmed on my Panasonic Lumix S1. I filmed it in Vlog, 4K, 10-bit, and in 30 frames per second. So I changed the settings of my project to 24 frames per second, and I also adjusted the clip attributes of this clip to 24 frames per second as well. One thing, because I am giving away this shot, but one thing is very important, is that this is a 10-bit shot, meaning that if you don't have a paid version of DaVinci, then you won't be able to play and edit this clip. But if you have it, and I really encourage everyone, whether you are a professional or whether you consider this as a passion, a hobby, to invest in the paid version of DaVinci, because it doesn't cost so much and you really get a lot from having access to all the features of this really amazing software. Okay, let's choose this moment as our hero moment, and let's see what we can do with this shot. It's going to be Vlog, Primaries, white balance, and after that we can experiment a little bit with the skin tones, with the greens, with the blues that we have. So first, let's apply a lookup table. So we filmed this with Panasonic. So we're going to use the LUT that is included in DaVinci. Switch to waveform. This is a nice cold looking shot, but we see that a lot of things are already quite good, like the whites that we have and the blacks, they look pretty legit, but we're still going to correct them. So next we have the primaries, and let's just play around first with the shadows. Let's bring them all the way down within the limits. Then the mid-tones, very important here, and let's see what we want to do with the highlights, the gains. And I think that in this shot, we don't want to give, we don't want to focus a lot on the highlights. Let's keep them pretty low, as we have quite a dominant, quite a light, background. We have some, a sky here. We have some buildings that are white. So we want to avoid our viewers to be distracted from our model. We want to put the focus on her. But for now, it's pretty cool. Let's do some contrast as well. I'm going to turn off the clips. Let's create a little bit more space. There we go. And so the contrast in this shot, it makes sure that we have this strong look. Again, this is like a glamour you know, glamour shot of a model in a beautiful dress. So we really want those colors to come forth. Okay, so for now I like it. Let's go to white balance, Vectorscope, and we see that the shot, well, we can balance it a little bit more. Let's do the offset. Let's keep it centered. And we already see that the skin tones look okay. But to make sure that we have everything in place, I'm going to check the highlights first. So we're going to focus, we're going to choose the building as our highlights to see if the whites are white. And it looks almost perfect. Gain, and then we center the whites, very good. And then we use the same window to, almost good, to go to her dress. And there we see that the blacks are also looking cool. Let's make them even blacker, even more black. So we turn off the window. Let's do a little bit more saturation. Let's have some colors to play with. And this looks pretty cool. Again, we have a lot of, actually, let's see what we can do with the skin tones. And I'm going back to Primaries one more time, and this time I want to play with the curves. One thing I'm trying to achieve here is to make sure that that her skin tones, that they don't have a very strong contrast. Okay, so for now I think that this looks pretty cool, and let's start to create some masks, and let's not take too much time of it. Most important ones are the skin tones, and that's what's interesting us the most. And we're going to select them like this. As a matter of fact, let's see how far we'll get. There we go. Blue radius. The advantage of working with a good camera, and you know, if you are serious about all of this, then I really suggest that you will invest, you know, try to put money aside and invest in good equipment, because it changes so much. You know, it really helps to, you know, make sure that the quality of your work is much higher, that you can do much more, and at the same time also that you can work much more easier, you know. So this is what the professionals do. I see that, okay, I'm going for a quick fixes. I see that here we don't have okay, so we have the skin tones over here, and we have some elements from the background that are interfering, but I'm actually going to bring them along. Maybe not the most professional way to do it, but for now I just want to have, I don't want to make this like a 1 hour tutorial where I really go deep into skin tones and the masks. So for now, let's just keep it cool. Let's keep it like this, maybe add one more thing. There we go. So the objection is here is just to make sure that Kilvis here is within limits and that we don't take too much of the background. And I think that's pretty cool. Okay, for now you have to forgive me. Far from perfect, but it will work for this one. So those are the skin tones. What do we want to do with the skin tones? We want to make them, first of all, check them on the Vectorscope. Are they in the right place? Almost, you know, let's maybe increase the saturation. Very good. I still have to work on that one little thing, that one little gap we have in her shoulder, in her arm. Let's see how I'm going to fix that. Okay, fair enough. It works. Maybe I'll decrease the blue radius a little bit. Maybe I'll go a little bit more inside, and for now it's fine. So anyway, what I've done just now is I work a little bit with the midtones, make them you know, more, gave them a little bit of the color boost, make sure that it's there on the line. And what I'm going to do next, oh yeah, let's make sure that her skin is a little bit more soft than the background. And we're going to use the midtone detail, and we're going to, instead of adding contrast to her skin, we're going to make sure that we have much less detail, that is much more smooth. And that's, you know, this is an effect very similar to the beauty effect. But I just find it working much easier. So, long story short, I think I like what I'm seeing. Okay, when we'll get the other colors, then we'll know for sure what we want and what we don't want. When it comes to the skin tones, they may be less saturated, maybe a little bit of different color, but for now it's cool. Okay, let's do those real fast. Let's do sky, qualifier. This looks like a sky, almost. We just don't want to have, there we go. We just don't want to have the walls we have in the background, like this. Okay, below radius, very good. And so what we want, oh yeah, you know, we can like increase saturation in this one, you know, make it more bluish. And I really like this, but another option that we have, and I'm just going to use the offset for this, is that we can also, you know, create a different look. And this is, you know, here you can really go artistic. And as a matter of fact, you know, I don't want to make it too greenish because we're still going to work with the greens. But anyway, let's keep it blue, and let's just decrease the saturation on this one, because we're almost at 100 points. Okay, so this is the sky. Let's go for the greens. And after that, I'm going to work on the wall as well. We're not going to change the colors or something, but we still, you know, if I'm looking at the waveform, the whites of the wall are still the most prominent ones. So we're going to work on that. Okay, greens. Let's find some greens. Qualifier, and see if we actually are able to. Yeah, well, it's quite dark, but if we're going to focus on the right direction, then we can actually get it done pretty nice. We don't want her hair. As you see, I use Qualifier right now in this tutorial in the most simple way that we have. Okay, I don't like this, let's reset. Maybe let's maybe work on this selection. There we go. Okay, somehow we're gonna have to work this one out. Okay, you know that. Let's not do a mask. Let's just do the second. This is really cheap, but this will work. And let's just use the whole scale of the green, and let's make it greener. I'm actually considering to raise. Okay, let's not play too much. It is more greener. This is not really what I want, but for the sake of the length of this tutorial, let's do it like this. As skin tones, I'm going to make them the less saturated, like this. This is cool. The walls, as promised, let's select them. This shouldn't be very hard. There we go. Just going to apply the luminance, blur, radius. Very good. And so when it comes to the walls, I'm just going to use the offset, which controls the whole spectrum of the selection, and let's keep them like this. This was before, this is after, so it's a nice mask. It looks pretty cool. What do we do about the greens? Well, I have an idea. Maybe, just maybe, we can reset this. Where are we resetting this? We're resetting it right here. I'm actually going to highlight the. I'm going to use this for a tree. No, that's free. At this moment, I don't even know if I've written it correctly, but it's not relevant. Let's go to the beginning of this shot, like this, and let's track it. And now that we have it, we can get a little bit more exposure out of this selection, like this. And the only thing I don't want is to make her hand, her arm, to get too close to this selection, but I think for now it's pretty alright. So I'm going to make it a little bit lighter. I'm going to increase the contrast and also determine with the pivot where we focusing on exactly, like this. Very good. So we see that the trees are now, there we go, they come forward. And so I don't want to work too much with the masks, etc. I'm just going to make this greener. So it is a difference. It gives what it does, and I'm actually going to don't exaggerate with the curves here. Maybe, yeah, okay, this is better. Okay, so remember that when you create masks, then you have so much more control over your shot. So right now here I'm working on the skin tones, and I want, for instance, that we're going to have less contrast, you know, and make sure that Kilvis really stands out, that she's lit in the right way. Let's do a little bit of contrast, pivot. Okay, cool. And I think I have a feeling that her face, yeah, there we go. We need to remove that, or at least change the position of the mask that controls the trees, and now it looks much better. Okay, so I like the shot, and what we're going to do is we're going to add a vignette, and that's really going to help us to, you know, have more focus on our model. And like this, let's reduce the softness. Let's don't exaggerate too much. There we go. Let's use the waveform. And just before the vignette, I'm going to, let's actually, you know, if you ever want to return to a shot, it's very important that you name everything right. Of course, when you are in the flow, you want to really focus on the speed and everything, but you still want to know that 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a few months from now, you know which shot is which and which node controls what and which mask is which. So let's call it, oops, let's call this one curves one more. A little bit of mess. And so what I'm going to do is adjust the curves one more time, contrast as well, to have a nice looking shot like this. It's going to be a combination of both. There we go. Maybe even lift the blacks a little bit, like this. And this is really the power of the curves, is that you can really decide which area you're focusing on. Just try to remember that every time you change something, something changes in your picture. So a little portion of midtones can become shadows or highlights, and the other way around as well. So yeah, this is how the shot looked in the beginning, and this is how the shot looks now. So thank you so much for watching. This is a this was a improvisation. I really enjoyed editing this video, and if you watched all the way through, thank you so much for your attention. I hope you liked it. I hope that this is a content that you are looking for, and also I'm curious about what you're going to create yourself, because I'm giving away this raw file so you can create, you know, your own color correction, you can create your own look, etc. So again, thanks so much. If you like this video, you know, leave a comment, ask me questions, subscribe to my channel as well, and I'm going to make more of those tutorials, and every single time I'll be trying to give others access to my footage. So even if you don't have any footage of your own, you can already start editing, and that was it. Thank you so much, and I see you in the next one.